for Bring Your Own Lunch. Personal stories about the business with my daddy, Dave T. Koenig.
All right, come on in, have a seat. Welcome. This is the Bring Your Own Lunch podcast at bringyourownlunch.com, the magic of iTunes, the majesty of Stitcher. And however you found your way to download this podcast, I thank you. As you heard at the top, my name is Dave T. Koenig. I'm an actor, writer, director, producer, comedian, all-around swell dude. I'm the father of a newly minted 3-year-old and a previously minted 6-year-old. And, of course, I'm the host of the podcast you're listening to right now. BYOL is the hashtag we use if you want to reach out on social media. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/bringyourownlunch. You can follow us on Twitter at BYOL Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Bring Your Own Lunch. We're on Spreaker. We're on YouTube. We're all over the place. And, of course, we have a home base of our website, bringyourownlunch.com, where you can find out all the information and relevant links for all the guests on this program, past, present, and presumably future. And you can send me a personal email, dave@bringyourownlunch.com. Love to hear from you. Now, generally, we release these shows on Tuesday. I record them in advance of that release, of course. But today is Wednesday, and we're doing things a little bit later than usual. We can do that, and we've done it before, and it might happen again in the future. But yesterday was for a darn good reason. It was my son Jack's 3rd birthday, and there was a lot of prep going into that, and a lot of fun running around. I had some auditions, and then we had a birthday party at a school, and then we had some dinner, and we took him to a couple places for fun. So, needless to say, yesterday was not a podcast day for me. Today, different story. Got plenty to talk about and a great guest, Rory Scholl, Texas native, who is a brilliant comedian, actor. He's a producer. He's a do-it-yourselfer. He's a go-getter, and he's got a lot of amazing, fun stories about his progress from his early days in Texas to coming to New York City and getting involved in improv up here and comedy and producing shows and burlesque. Fascinating stuff. Really fun guy. And I met Rory fairly recently, but he and I had mutual friends for years, and his name would come up, and we just never connected until we finally did actually meet each other, and we worked on a show together, and I found out that he's as cool as everybody always says he is. So I'm glad to have him on the show and get a chance to chat with somebody who I think is really very, very interesting, and I think you will too. Plenty to talk about besides the interview, and we will get to that in just a moment, but this is a very, very active week. Besides my little boy's birthday, I had several theatrical experiences, and all of them good. Last week, my wife and I went to go see Hand to God. You've heard me talk about it. In fact, Geneva Carr is one of the stars of the show, was a guest back in episode 21, and this is a phenomenal show. It was in previews when we saw it, but they had their opening night last night, and I'm so thrilled to hear about the positive reaction it's gotten. The reviews for this show, it's a Broadway show, are phenomenal. New York Times and the Daily News and NBC and every place you look, the Variety, they're all loving it, and it sort of feels good to me to know that a lot of good people who were involved in this, the writer Robert Askins, Stephen Boyer, who is unbelievable in this, and several other people, everybody involved in the show is incredible, and it's a very cool thing to see, especially knowing the genesis of that project. It started as a simple project at Ensemble Studio Theater, and I've talked about them in the past before. Robert Askins brought them the project and said, hey, I'd like to do this, and they assembled the cast. Then it had a run off-Broadway. And finally, it made its way all the way to Broadway. And what the cool thing is, in my mind, is that the production apparently is basically intact from what it was way back in the beginning of the project to right now. And that entire cast and crew has stuck together and are doing an amazing job bringing really interesting, funny, dangerous theater to Broadway. And I've never really been a big Broadway guy. I'm not a show tunes guy. And, I respect it. And of course, I'm an actor, so I embrace everything that goes on. But as a fan, as somebody who's just removed from the business, I've never been a big Broadway show guy. But this one, it speaks to me. It's very adult. It's very raunchy. It's very over the top in terms of its comedy. But it definitely has a lot to say. And apparently the New York Times reviewer said that 2 people walked out when they were watching it opening night. And I'm not entirely surprised having seen it. But if you're the type to enjoy being challenged by theater, well, this is you. And if you're a fan of something like, let's say, Avenue Q or Book of Mormon, Hand to God shares similar cloth to those shows. And I can't recommend it more. So I'm just thrilled. And knowing Geneva and how cool she is and hearing the nice things that are being said about her performance, as well as everybody in the cast, it's very, very cool. And I think theater needs more of this stuff, more challenging stuff, more open-minded stuff, so that we're not necessarily just seeing the classics, and we're not just seeing adaptations of TV shows turned into musicals or older movies turned into musicals, but really interesting, brave theater is what we need more of. And I think that's what's going to bring more people into the fold and make things more interesting overall. And if you want more information about Ensemble Studio Theater, you can go to ensemblestudiotheater.com. Now, another thing I did the other night was to go to Ensemble Studio Theater's First Brew. Now, that's a reading series. And the kind of thing that Robert Askins was involved in, where he brought his projects to them and they pair up scripts and actors. And I was lucky enough to get to perform in a cold reading of one of their plays. And it was a lot of fun. It's the second time I've done it, and I recommend it highly. Not just because it gives you a chance to do some readings or see some works before they go anywhere, but also just to network. And I've been preaching this as an important thing because I've rediscovered the need and the fun of networking with fellow professionals. So if you have a chance to go to something like a reading series, or somebody says, hey, I've got a play, I want to do a reading, jump at that stuff. If you're a prospective entertainer, if you're an actor at heart and you want to get more involved, this is the kind of stuff you can do. And like with Hand to God, you never know where it goes. And the other thing I did was perform in a show called Macbeth Transformed. I was scheduled to do one night, but I ended up doing 2 nights so far. And this is a fascinating story in and of itself. It started off as a project under the name Macbeth, the Unsex Me Here project. Originally was conceived as a production of Macbeth, wherein 3 male actors and 3 female actors shared all of the roles. Whether or not they followed the gender intended by the script, you had men playing women, women playing men, and then they would switch and continually evolve the project as it went forward. Unfortunately, I believe it was 5 days before opening night of that show, half the cast decided they didn't want to be in it anymore. And that left the producers, the people behind the show, which is being produced by the Manhattan Shakespeare Project, kind of in a bad situation. The theater was paid for. They had done a bunch of rehearsals and they were sort of ready to go, but then they had half the cast missing. And you can't exactly bring in 3 new people into a very unique production of a very challenging play with no notice. There was no way for them to replace those 3 actors and let them get up to speed with all that needed to be done. So what were they going to do? Well, the 2 people in the cast who remained, there was a third person who stuck behind, but they said, it seems your heart isn't in it, so if you want to, you can leave. And with their blessing, that actor decided not to continue. So you had the 2 remaining actors, Amanda Beckel-Heide, and I apologize if I mess up her name. I've known her for a long time, but I've never been sure if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, so hopefully I get that right. And Sarah Eisman, who I hadn't met before, decided to keep going, and that the 2 of them would handle the bulk of the play. And they reached out to some of their friends, myself included, to see if they can find guest artists to come in and read the rest of the parts on book. So you had Amanda and Sarah performing on stage, doing many of the different roles, including Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, who were being performed by one person. And you had 2 guest artists who were off on the side of the stage with microphones, reading the rest of the parts. And it became this really interesting, unique way to do Shakespeare. And I reached out to Amanda after hearing about it. I said, hey, I'd love to do it. It sounds like a fun project. It sounds like a fun thing to do. And it does harken back to what I was saying before about getting involved in things and doing readings and using that as an opportunity to perform and network. And they were also looking for people to do the porter, which I thought was very cool because I know that's one of the Shakespeare parts that kind of gets to really have a lot of fun. So I said, hey, I'd love to do it, and I'd love to do the porter. So I arranged with them to do 3 performances of that part in that new Macbeth Transformed play. And so I was ready to go Friday night, ready to do that. But then I found out the night before that they needed someone to do the reading. So One night I did the reading of the parts. The next night I did the porter, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm very proud of both of them, as well as the rest of the crew who are still involved with it, including stage manager Rachel Jerome. I think they're doing a fantastic job taking something that could have been a complete disaster and making something great out of that. So I am all for it, and I highly recommend going to see it. And it's very cool to see that they're getting some really good reviews based on the performances so far. But I'll be back there performing the porter at Macbeth Transformed on April 15th and 16th at 7 p.m. That's at the Access Theater, 380 Broadway in New York City, 4th floor. Tickets are only $10, which is great. You can find out more information at Manhattan Shakes, and I have ticket information where you can buy tickets in advance in the show notes for this episode. Also, coming up for me, I'll be back at Ensemble Studio Theater. It's a lot of talk about EST this week, but I'll be back for Last Call, which is hosted by Mr. and Mrs. Clown. Mike Smith-Rivera, one of my guests several weeks ago. It's a variety night, and they are doing a great job with that, so I'm going to go back and do some stand-up in my own unique way. Coming up on April 18th, that's a Saturday night starting at 10 o'clock. I believe it's 10 o'clock, but I'll have the specific information in the show notes for this episode as well. And looking ahead looking a little bit further ahead, in May, I will be doing an evening of shorts. That's featuring the works of John Minigan and Miranda Jonte. It's a boozy fundraiser, boozy benefit. It's a boozy benefit at the Eleanor Monroe Film Center in the Amphitheater, 144 West 65th Street, just west of Broadway. That's Lincoln Center. Tickets for that are $30. This will be Tuesday, May 12th at 7 o'clock p.m., and you can find out more information at heyjonte.com. That's HEYJONTE.com. Oh, and if you happen to catch the following this week, at the end of the show, they did a preview for next week's show, and that's the episode I'm in. The episode's called Flesh and Blood. It'll be April 13th on Fox. Check your local listings. But I did find my way into that promo, which was very, very cool, and I'm very excited to see that. So I have the YouTube video of the promo for next week's show in the show notes for this episode, and April 10th. It's a big weekend for geeks, according to my friend David Levin. He has said that between Game of Thrones coming back and Daredevil being released on Netflix, it's a very, very big geek week. And part of that is simply just that on April 10th, Netflix will release all episodes of Daredevil, and I believe it's episode 10. You'll see your friend Dave in that, playing a lawyer as well. Before we get into the interview, let me just make sure I thank Banuba, Banuba.net, BANOOBA. They are the folks that provide the music at the beginning, middle, and end of this show, and this show would not be the same without them. Please go to their website, buy some of their music, download some of their music, find out where they will be playing live, and tell them Dave sent you, because I appreciate everything they do for this show. All right, let's get into it with actor, comedian, producer, raconteur, Rory Scholl. Texas's best. Funny guy. With a very funny frog in his house. Here's Rory. Enjoy. And that may or may not make it into the podcast, that bubbling brook. But what is it? What are we listening to there?
It's an aquarium.
It's an okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I didn't get the tour when I got in.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
that's okay. No, I'm.
There's only 2 fish in it now. I'm not too proud of it. We used to have a lot more, but we had an evil frog that ate the fish. So
your frog literally ate the fish.
Yeah. An evil little albino little frog ate the fish.
Did you know it when it happened, or did you kind of wait? There were more fish here.
Yeah. No, they kept disappearing, and then we transfer them into another bowl while we clean the aquarium, and then we couldn't find some of them. He waited till they were all in a smaller place and ate them, and it's not right.
What kind of fish did you have?
We had glowfish. We had some lovely black and white stripes. Now we have some red velvets, but we have 6 of them. We're down to 2.
Wow,
that's a hungry frog. So he's in exile now. Actually, we banned him. We put him in another bowl in the closet.
You didn't just toss him in, say you're out of here.
Not yet.
You're on your own.
No.
Well, good, because that's probably something that you don't want to get out there.
Nope. He's in the closet. He's just in exile right now.
So this one's interesting for me because you and I have a ton, and have had a ton of mutual friends over the years. But you and I only recently got to know each other for real.
Right.
I don't know if you had heard of me, but I certainly had heard of you. You had a reputation as somebody who, and it's all good stuff.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I don't want to get you.
I don't like when that
nervous.
starts. Oh, your reputation.
No. And you deserve the title of, I guess, Renaissance man would describe you.
All right.
Based on my knowledge of you from afar, and then having gotten to do a show with you and seeing all the other stuff you're doing and being friends on Facebook and stuff like that, you're a really active guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that all about?
I don't say no to to anything that comes down the pike. So,
but it's not just that you're saying yes to stuff. You're spearheading a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I like that old thing. If you're not working, create your own work. So I've done that. I've been in New York now 12 years. So I started right out of the gate here with somebody else's company and somebody else's improv troupe, and it inevitably goes down. And then you're stuck without a job. So you just kind of force yourself to make your own work.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the way of the world nowadays, where you can't just rely on people discovering your massive talents. Right. You have to kind of put yourself out there.
Not yet, but yeah.
But by taking control of your destiny, you're giving yourself an opportunity that nobody else would possibly give you.
Yeah.
And that's important. That's
definitely
a big deal.
Some of the shows and they pay. So that's another thing. Is not just putting up. I'm actually getting
paid for work.
Things I'm creating. So it's nice. Yeah.
Well, all right. We're gonna probably end up there because I want to start at the beginning.
All right.
Where are you from?
I was born in Allentown, Pennsylvania, but moved when I was 4 and grew up in Dallas, Texas.
So you don't have any memories of Allentown?
No, just my parents fleeing and not looking back.
What was the reason they left Allentown? Because if you listen to Billy Joel, it seemed like a booming metropolis.
Oh, well, they were closing all the factories down. What are you talking about? No, it was horrible. I got to get out of there. No factories.
They were killing time in Bethlehem.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there.
They just left. My dad had a friend who moved to Texas, and he's like, this is the complete opposite of Pennsylvania. Plus, this is about as far as away you can get it from your parents. So they're like, let's go.
So they were originally Pennsylvanians.
Oh, yeah. Pennsylvania Dutch kind of.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I spent, very little, but I've been to Allentown, and it does kind of have that feel. And I don't know if you've been back. Have you been back?
I've been back once when my grandmother, for her funeral, and then once to perform at the Allentown Opera House downtown. So what
was the production there?
That was when I was with a group called, it was one of the improv touring companies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you moved to Dallas?
Yes.
Is it Dallas, the actual city of Dallas, or were you
we moved to Grand Prairie, which was a suburb. They were famous because they had that wax museum there. It burned down, and then they rebuilt it, and then the owner's wife poisoned him, and it burned down again. And so now, when they rebuilt it, and they think it's haunted now. That's what Grand Prairie is known for.
Wow. Do you know when that happened?
1980s, early 80s.
Because there was that Vincent Price movie.
Yeah,
that was sort of along those similar lines.
Yeah.
So
I don't think this was like a fishtail or wife tail or whatever. I think it really
did burn down.
It really did burn down, and he really was poisoned. But I don't know if it's haunted. So.
Well, if it happened in the 80s, I mean, it's not like happened in the 1700s, and we're relying on very sketchy journalism.
You can't if it's not on the internet. Maybe it didn't happen.
That's true. That's true. But so where else did you live around Dallas?
To they say Grand Prairie. Then we moved to Plano, Texas.
Plano, okay.
Yeah. That's a little suburb of Dallas. Very nice. We were the hot air balloon capital of the world for a while.
Nice.
Then we were the suicide capital of the world for a while. Then I think crack or heroin capital of the world. Seriously. And then I think it's back to hot air balloon now. I think they got their act together.
That's quite a range.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you think of hot air balloons, it is the most idyllic, peaceful thing on Earth.
I know.
How did that change so fast?
I think because they had I remember some weekends having 30 hot air balloons over our backyard, and everyone's dog going crazy, and I think people just got sick of it, and so they
hit the crack.
They kind of so they went right for the crack, and if they didn't have crack, then they'd kill themselves. That's how that worked. Yeah.
And what?
But I think they're back to hot air balloons now. I think.
Good. I mean, that's a lot healthier. I mean, unless the hot air balloon fails.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it seems like a much more safe way to stake your reputation as a town. So what was life like for you? I mean, besides the crack.
Besides the crack. And I didn't kill myself, as far as I know. So
you're a living testament to the non-suicide.
High school, I liked high school.
Yeah.
A lot of people complain like, I'll never go back to high school. I'd go back. It was so easy. Like, there's no pressure. I got along with everybody. It's kind of like, I got along with the jocks and the goths and the theater kids, but I wasn't really involved like in any specific type. Mostly theater, I guess, but I never did any plays. I never memorized my monologues and stuff. It was just an excuse, kind of.
You just hung out with the kids
outside.
mostly.
Yeah, pretty
so
much.
it wasn't the performance itself that drove you.
Yeah, not in high school.
Not in high school. Mm-hmm. So when did it become a thing for you?
Right after high school, I was trying to think of what. I didn't want to go to a normal college. I went to 6 weeks of a community college and just sat in the library and watched Star Wars for over and over, and then dropped out. I was like, this college is hard. So
was that a credited course, or was that just your way of getting through it?
Yeah, okay, that's how I got through English.
And but back then, I mean, I don't know what year that was, but
1991.
So pre-internet,
yeah.
I mean, you had to really plan to have Star Wars available to you in a library.
Yeah. Well, they had the DVDs and the microfiche.
Oh, okay. It was
like
one of those schools.
Not even DVDs, the big giant tapes, Blockbuster tapes.
Right. So, I mean, what was your intent originally in terms of going to college?
No, I had none. I didn't want to go. All my friends moved. I was in a band. Who wasn't in a band in high school? But I was in a band. Yeah. And then they all moved to Denton, Texas. Like, my whole band moved there to go to school. And I moved up there, but I didn't go to school. But I just moved there to hang out. And so I got a job at, like, there's this surfer-themed restaurant called Kahuna's. So I got a job as a short order cook at Kahuna's. And, in the morning, I was the first one in there. So I'd cook breakfast, and I'd log out around 2 o'clock. And 2 weeks in, they gave me a key to the place. So we would go, and I'd open it up, and all my friends would come in, and we'd drain a keg, and I'd cook wings and burgers and, all this shit. And then we'd, the next morning, I was the first one in, so I could just, reorder it. And this happened for about 4 months. I don't think they're not open anymore.
Well, probably because some of the employees might have been stealing stuff from eating free food and drinking free beer.
Some people.
Yeah. Now, you said Denton, Texas, and you're friends with Chris Griggs.
Yeah.
And when he was on, I had to ask him about growing up in Memphis, and the one of the pointed things I recognized was that Memphis, Tennessee was a hotbed for pro wrestling. Now Denton, Texas also.
Yeah.
And it's becoming sad that I keep going to this, but another hotbed for wrestling. Did you experience that at all?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, I'm trying to think of... there was the Von Erichs. Did you know the Von Erichs?
That's one of the saddest stories in entertainment history or sports history.
Entertainment history, yeah. The Von Erichs. Yeah, that was a sad story.
Did you go to the Sportatorium?
I went a couple of times. There was one, actually, I remember when I started doing stand-up, we would do stand-up before some of the shows.
Oh, wow.
Out there, yeah. In Denton and in Arlington, they had a venue out there. So we would do stand-up before the wrestling matches and stuff like that. Do you know Cornmo? You know Cornmo?
Cornmo?
Yeah.
No, that I...
No, he's a guy. He's a friend of mine from Texas, but he's a musician up here. He's
awesome.
Okay. You should look him up. He's like the next Meatloaf. But he has he's from Dallas, very nostalgic guy, and he has a whole song about the Von Erichs.
Really?
You should, Google that.
That's very cool.
Really good.
I don't want to belabor our time here with talk about that, but
they deserve their due.
How involved did you get on any other aspects of wrestling, or was it just you were there to perform?
No, I was just there to perform. But you watch it though. Sunday afternoons it comes on. You're gonna watch it. But
what was the band you were in?
The first one we were called the Four Gray Sleepers.
Based on what?
Based on some painting. We thought we were really artsy. There's four of us, and there's like these four statues. It's like, we're the Four Gray Sleepers. I couldn't tell you who did it, or I don't know. I have no idea.
Sounded good.
But then we changed. Like we called ourselves then we were folky, and we called ourselves Sway.
Wow.
And all this. I know.
Nice.
And then like Wild Onions, I think we wanted to call ourselves at one point. I don't know.
Is there anything more fun than the naming of bands that don't quite make it?
Yeah. It's the same thing with improv troops.
That is true. That I didn't think of it until you just mentioned it. But the nomenclature thing is such a testament to like failure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I wanted to have a troupe called Stanley Spornak. You know that?
Stanley Sport.
He's the ex-husband of B. Arthur's character on Golden Girls.
Oh,
I just thought that would be a funny Stanley Spornak.
Whenever you can fit in a really subtle reference to anything, I'm on board with it. Yeah. So yes,
I think that's my girlfriend's idea. We watch Golden Girls. She's like, name it Stanley Spornak. It's like no one's gonna.
But that's the beauty of it. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of it. Is that like if nobody else gets it, but it makes you chuckle, you have succeeded in making somebody's day.
Yep.
Even if it's your own.
Yeah.
All right. So
that happens a lot.
At some point, you transition from being in a band to thinking about doing comedy. So how did that transition happen?
When I started doing backup singing, and they put a mic in front of me, that's when I was like, oh. So I would be more interested in talking between songs and like razzing the banter, audience. Yeah, I just like the banter. I was like, let's do this double time. Let's go get back to the talking. So after that, I was kind of hooked on the mic thing. So
and that was enough to get you started.
Yeah.
How did you we're talking early 90s. Well, first of all, who did you look at as like an example of, hey, that's a guy I want to be like, or what were your influences that way?
John Ritter, actually. I like John Ritter a lot, yeah.
Underrated.
Yeah.
As a comic actor, but not necessarily his stand-up.
Well, no, not his stand-up, but I just mean his, like, Three's Company was a horribly written show. But he just could take garbage and like make it funny.
He could.
His delivery was hilarious,
and he had such a likability to him. That it was hard to fault him for the terribleness of the show.
Yeah, actually, when I started doing stand up, I was looking up to like Louis Anderson was great. I saw Howie Mandel live. He was awesome. Really good.
He was big back then too.
Yeah, he was. That's when he was.
Maybe people don't remember how big he was.
Yeah, now he's bald and does reality shows and won't shake your hand. But back then, man, he was hilarious.
Yeah, and he was one of the guys who made that transition from comedy to acting, which is we can get into that later and see how that worked out. But how did you end up then figuring out how to get into doing some stand up?
Right. So I did. I was going to go to culinary school. This was a big step. I was going to go to Boston, actually. I was like, maybe I'll cook because I like to cook. It wasn't anything I was super passionate about. But then after a band show, there was an open mic night at a club called Funny Bone in Fort Worth. So I went out there and I did the open mic night and went really, really well. I started... because with the band I would start writing bits in between to do.
Okay, sure.
Make that was called this and that and blah blah blah. And, just kind of. So I had some material, and so I just went out and did 4 minutes of stand up, 5 minutes open mic, and it went well. And I won the open mic night. They had I remember now. Paul Luther was the host. He's a local Dallas comic. Mm-hmm. You get a melon if you win, and So I was like, I won the melon of the night. And I was like, this is great.
And if you're hurting for money, that melon goes a long way.
And so I loved it, and I just got hooked on that. And then they invited me back the next week to do a 15-minute set.
Wow.
And I was horrible.
That's a leap, man.
Yeah, I
11 more minutes.
I know. I know.
For somebody just getting started.
Yeah.
Now, this open mic thing, was that here in New York? I mean, you either do an open mic at a bar at the back and nobody pays and nobody gets paid. And there's also bringer shows where you have to bring your own audience. Yeah. What was this like?
No, it's totally different. Yeah. There were only, 8 or 9 of us. Nobody got paid, but it wasn't a bringer show, and it was an actual club. So we actually had a crowd of 140, 150 people.
Paying 150, your first time up on a stage was in front of 150 people. Yeah. That's gotta have been. Yeah. Were you intimidated? Were you?
No, not the first time because I was so cocky. I was like, "Oh, this is easy," and then I won. And then the second time I come up, and they're like, "Yeah," and you're right. 11 more minutes is.
That's
I was just eternity. Like, I'll just talk a little more about what I have. And then the guy was like, "Oh, you want our open mic night? Give it up. This is only the second time he's ever been on stage." Rory Scholl, and I got
Thanks
up there.
for kicking me in the balls.
Yeah, I was horrible. I think I ended 5 minutes early and just walked off. I was like, "Sorry, damn you." Yeah. But
was there a headliner, or were you the headliner at that rate?
No, there was a headliner. There was an MC, and then a guest spot, and then a middle, and then a headliner. I was the guest spot.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, then later, then I started getting out a lot more and getting paid gigs, and then I started hosting for the Funny Bone and occasionally at the Improv in Addison, and then that's the difference in the South. There's 3 of you. If you get hired, there's some clubs called the Looney Bins. You heard of these? There's one. The big Southern tour is Tulsa, Omaha, Oklahoma City, and Little Rock.
Okay.
And so you would go and you'd get booked Wednesday through Sunday. They'd put you up in a house. pay you. It's just you and two other comics.
Wow.
And then you move on. The next week you go to the next thing. So that's why when I came up here and it's like, you're one of 18 and you need to bring your entire family.
Right. Or you get 2 minutes and nobody cares.
Yeah. Or you can give me $10 and I'll listen to you.
Right. Yeah. At the time you were doing those, I guess the Southern Circuit, who was around then? And who was getting started and who was kind of on their way up at that point?
From that time, like who did I work with that kind of rose up?
Yeah, who is still in it now?
Jerry Rocha. Do you know Jerry Rocha?
I know his name.
He's an LA comic.
Okay, yeah.
He just did a thing with, I think, Carlos Mencia. Is that his name? Carlos
Mencia?
Mencia, yeah. He did a Comedy Central special with him recently.
Oh, okay.
And Jerry, knows the grindstone, that guy. Like, he's out all the time. He came up here and, gave it a shot, but he went out to LA and he's thriving out there.
Oh, good.
I'm trying to think of other any bigger names from Texas.
Or in
well, Brian Regan was he's huge.
Yeah, of course.
He was one I was looking up to, and he's still killing it out there, I think, right?
So those are the kind of guys you got to look at and say, okay, that's where I could go.
Yeah.
Ultimately, yeah.
I did get to open, I get to work with some nice people, especially at like the Funny Bone out there in Fort Worth, Bobcat Goldthwait. He was awesome.
Sure.
Really nice guy. And Pauly Shore, who was not. So,
do you want to tell personal stories, or do you want to?
Yeah, sure.
What happened with Pauly Shore?
Well, he wasn't necessarily mean to me, but the first night he came out, I introduced him, and he did like 15 minutes of the Weasel, and then had nothing after that. And then people were booing him, and he was like, "Screw this," and he walked out of the club, and he didn't do the rest of the weekend. So
wow,
yeah,
that was. I wonder if you were to talk to him now, how he would assess himself at that time, because he seems like he's kind of gone through I guess
he's grown up.
He's grown up.
I love Pauly's all grown up.
Yeah, I mean, like the mid '90s, he was just like they were throwing money at him to just show up and do Weasel.
Yeah,
and now he's living kind of a much more. It's not as easy for him, let's say.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting. And then Jimmy Dore. Do you know Jimmy Dore?
I know the name. Yeah.
I mean, I got to work with him a lot.
Okay, well, so you had some people who were around who were helping you kind of hone the craft, or at least showing you some...
Pablo Francisco, there we go.
Okay,
there's
there you
another
go.
name. Right, yeah. And he's a Texas comic as well. I worked with him a couple of times, but I know he still goes back and works with a bunch of friends I know, and he's huge right now. So.
And at the time, I don't know where this falls in the timeline, but since it is Texas, I can only assume it's while you were still there. But on Facebook, you recently posted like you with Mark Cuban. What was your experience with him?
Yeah. So
was that around this time, or
that was about that was like 8 years later.
Oh, okay.
8 years
all
after.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's set that as like one of those pins on the old Google map, and we'll make sure we scoot around to hit that on the way up. All right. So you were doing stand up.
Yeah.
And how long were you doing that?
So I did that for a couple of years, and then in the meantime, I got an agent down there, and I did it. I had did a bunch of commercial work. All local stuff, never anything national, fun stuff, insurance commercials. I did a Sonic hamburger commercial with Frankie Avalon, which was fun.
That's cool.
So I got to do a bunch of commercials like that.
Now, I've only ever known the New York market, really. So what was the commercial market down there?
It was good. Like I said, Sonic was there. All the J.C. Penney's used to do ads, and they're based there. I know there's some other 7-Eleven is there now, but they weren't there when I was there. But they do a lot of local. The local commercial business is big, like regional stuff, like Bluebell or Blue Bunny ice cream and things like that.
Yeah. How many offices would you go to, and how often would you go on auditions?
I go on auditions a lot. I don't know, at least once a week. And within 2 years, I think I had about 30 commercials under my belt, which is it's not bad.
Well, you could tell someone that in New York right now, and they're like, "Oh, sure."
Yeah. But I do not have any of the reels, so I mean the Mark Cuban video we're talking about, that's like 13, 14 years old, and I look so like not.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to. That's the one thing about this business is that you can't just sort of show people stuff you did in 2004.
Even though I still think I can do it. This is when I knew I was old, because I had my agent now a couple years ago called and said, "Hey, I've got a Red Lobster commercial audition for you. It's a family and they're out on a Sunday afternoon." And I was like, "Okay, great." So she's like, "Yeah, you're gonna just dress up and kind of be the hip dad." And I was like, "Oh." In my mind, I was thinking I was going to be the son. I really did. I was like, and then I kicked. I was like, "Oh, I'm the dad now forever." So
yeah, it's going to be hard. I mean, I could see maybe in a push, maybe just like giving you
distance.
a role in a specific. No, I mean you could in a specific instance be someone's son in a show or something.
Yeah.
But commercial wise, I can
maybe
see
Brian Dennehy's son.
Yeah, exactly, or
Yeah.
something like that where you are, like. I don't know, when people send you out, what are you getting sent out for now?
It's like the dads, the husbands.
But what age dad? Because I used to be young dad.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know that I'm still young dad, but you definitely are young dad right now, right?
Yeah.
So like you could probably go out for 20 to late 20s, maybe.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Like on the low end.
I don't
right?
know. I don't know. 35. Maybe 30. I don't know. It never
yeah.
says the age in the thing, right?
Yeah. Well, it says like late 20s, early 30s, or 20s, 30s, or 30s, 40s. Yeah. I mean, something like that.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I don't know. Just any Verizon commercial or Sprint commercial that is out right now, whatever age range the dudes in that are, that's what I get sent out.
Well, good for you, man. It's not bad.
Yeah.
And were you doing union stuff in Texas, or was that because it's right to work, right? Yeah. So they don't necessarily have to do any of that stuff.
No.
Are you in the union or not?
No.
Oh, okay. So it's almost like it worked out that you got to do all that kind of high level, the visibility, high. There's a word there.
You're
I can't.
high.
Yeah,
I think that's it.
On life. I don't know.
Kids listening on life, kids.
But you were able to kind of come to New York and now it's like non-union stuff is all over the place.
Yeah.
So I mean, eventually you could get into the union, but it's not like it's there's plenty of opportunities. So you're probably auditioning a lot now. Today.
I'm getting back into it. The first literally 10 years I was doing nothing but improv and touring and things like that, and odd jobs, of course. They didn't just come to New York and it was like, hey, tour with us.
Yeah, right.
But I didn't really go back into the TV, the commercial part of it. I just
When did you find improv?
I think in like 96 or something. I was still doing the agent's work and then commercial work, but it wasn't. I wasn't booking as much, and my parents still had the little bee in their bonnet about the college, and so I was like, well, there's this place called the Kim Dawson Actors Conservatory of the Southwest.
Wow!
So I took a 2-year acting program there.
Now, who and I mean no disrespect by saying this. Who is that?
Kim Dawson?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure she was a big actress in I don't know.
I apologize for anybody who knows her or Kim herself.
Me too.
For not knowing.
Actually, I should know. I was there for 2 years. I don't know if I ever met her, but
man, wouldn't it be a great scam to just and they did a movie kind of like this, but it's like the Rory Scholl acting conservatory. It's like you just let people, like you tell kids, tell your parents you're going to the Rory Scholl acting conservatory, so they'll get off your back, and then you just let them run loose in New York City,
yeah. Ooh, and they pay, right?
And they pay. Well, yeah, they gotta rent the name. From
tuition is hard. Yeah.
Maybe not as much as a regular school, but enough. You do a 50-50 split with them.
Okay.
The parents give them the check, and then you just deposit it, you give them half them back.
So they have money to run around on.
There's a scam for you, man.
Wait, no, not a scam. I'm actually thinking of opening a school, Dave. That's a great idea.
So so when you went to this conservatory, that's where you first encountered improv?
Yeah, because it was an actor's thing, so we had to do everything from Shakespeare to
Oh, so you really did hardcore.
Yeah, it was
study.
and I didn't like I liked, just riffing on Shakespeare, doing other things. I never, again, same thing in high school. I never really memorized any of my lines, and I wasn't really good at it. I was just there just to be there. But the connections I had there were a lot of us that, were either stand-ups or sketch writers or, Whose Line Isn't Anyway had just come out.
Yeah. And that changed for a lot.
The British version, I think. We started with Clive and all that stuff. And so we put a troupe, some of us that had similar interests, we put a troupe together. And started playing around Dallas clubs, actually, not theaters. We played down in downtown Dallas. I think the troupe, originally the troupe we were called Actors Without a Stage. And it was, the first half was improv. Yeah. Yep.
No, I laugh out of recognition. Yeah. Because, like we were saying before, the whole nomenclature of improv groups thing. There's the short form, and we talk about this a lot on this podcast. Is that the difference between short form and long form? Short form is Whose Line Is It Anyway? Quick joke, joke, and long form is creating scenes and playing and discovering things, and the differences are so evident between short form improv group names and long form improv group names. Yeah. So Actors Without a Stage. Actors Without a Stage is such a short form improv troupe name.
Well, then we changed to Dead Comic Society with an X. So clever. Oh God, breaking new ground with that one.
I was once in Rebels Without a Script.
Yeah. Oh God. Stanley Spornak.
Improvisers must be punished. Yeah, that's you don't see those at UCB or the Pit or the Magnet. Yeah, it's just not. It's more like band names. Definitely. It's so funny.
The Wackadon'ts. Get out of here.
Oh God. It's painful, but it's like it's part of our history, I suppose. Yeah. So you guys, where's this conservatory, by the way?
It's in Dallas, downtown.
So you're not traveling any distance.
No, right in the heart of Dallas.
And so you guys were taking advantage of and for me, Whose Line Is It Anyway changed a ton for me.
Yeah.
I grew up on Long Island, so I came to the city, and I would go to Chicago City Limits, which was short form.
Right.
And then when Whose Line, the British version, came out, it was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You could do that on TV and stuff. It was amazing.
Yeah.
What were they teaching that at this conservatory?
No.
They were just kind of working with basic tenets of improv.
But we had, we all hung out. We all had access to a theater, and so we would stay there in between classes, or if we had to stay late, we'd just come up with different formats. We kind of, parody not parody, but take the games that they play on Whose Line and kind of tweak them a little bit.
It's not like they invented them.
Yeah, right. And so, and then we started doing that, and we did it at the club down in downtown Dallas called Club Dada, which I think is still there. And it was fun because we made it more a little like, again, I guess maybe I had a band sensibility, and some of these guys were like, they like to party and drink, and it wasn't like the comics are like, okay, what's relevant today. It was just like, we just wanted to have a good time, so we would do it at rock clubs and stuff like that.
Okay,
and so we get a really good following for a while at some of these little rock band.
Were you guys
clubs.
making money?
Eventually, we did. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, that's the beauty again of being in a different market from New York, because you have access to theaters that are looking for stuff to put in it, and you can actually turn a buck.
Yep. We started doing it at in the club still there. It's called Pocket Sandwich Theater, and it's a great club.
It's a great name.
It's a great name. Yeah. And so late nights, and they still do it. Late nights at like the 11 o'clock slot, where they'd have improv troops come in.
Wow.
And so and we'd get the door. About like 80% of the door, and like you could sit 90 people in there. And,
wow.
We started making some okay cash.
You guys running weekly, I guess. Or
yeah.
So you can really that adds up quick.
I'm like, what am I doing here?
Yeah, I know. It's like,
wait a minute.
So where? I mean, how did you have any stops in between? Where you were doing that stuff in Dallas and New York? Like, where did you?
Yeah.
At what point did you say to yourself, "Okay, Dallas, I've had enough"? And
that was even further down the line. The first time I came to New York, I was dating a girl who was in charge of all the costumes for Barney the Dinosaur.
Oh,
so anytime you saw Barney the Dinosaur with teeth or a top hat, that was her work. So in '97,
so we can blame her.
Yeah. What'd you do to the youth of America? Barney had a float in the Macy's parade.
Okay.
So I get to come up here with her.
Oh, okay, sure.
I got grandstand tickets. It was first time to New York. I saw the behind the scenes. Like, oh, this is great.
That's a big deal.
This is so easy to live in the city.
Yeah, right.
I was like, great, I gotta come back. So it was really great. I didn't really have time to see much comedy, but it was my first exposure to the city where you're very independent here.
Being from Texas, what were some? I mean, because I only know life growing up on Long Island, and I've always said that probably I'd have to go to something like Tokyo to experience the kind of overwhelming feelings of being in what feels like a completely new city that's that large. So for you, what was it like coming to New York?
It's like being on a movie set, because like being on Sesame Street or something, because most movies, and they've changed, but most movies in the 80s and 90s stuff, if it took place in either like New York or Chicago, that was it.
Right.
So I was like, oh, everything is happening here. So I felt the energy of the city. I was like, this is great. Plus, I'm a horrible driver, so to have public transportation, even though it doesn't work on 100% of the time, it's nice. Like that's what I mean about being more independent here. Like there, you're so dependent on the traffic is horrible, and everything's so spread out. Here, at least you can get around.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So where did the Cuban thing come into play?
So then I Comedy Sports. Mm-hmm. So the Comedy Sports is a chain of short form improv.
Yep.
So I came to Dallas finally in 2001.
Okay.
And so I joined Comedy Sports, and through that, somebody came out to the show who worked for the Mark Cuban show. And he had a character that was kind of like a Super Dave Osborne type of character, like a stunt guy, but he was also a fitness guy. We were always getting like kind of wacky adventures. So he was looking for someone to play his like right arm man.
No, I should ask because I don't remember the Mark Cuban show. I feel like I should, but what was the Mark Cuban show?
He had it was a show that he filmed at a local club, and he'd go out and do segments. He'd interview players. It was like a sketch show. Really,
where did that air?
It aired. I want to say it aired on HDTV.
Oh, it did.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think he owned that for a while.
Yeah, he started that network. I guess. I don't remember. I didn't realize it was around for that long.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I think they started showing him at least locally on CBS on like Sunday mornings at noon or something like that.
But was it basketball heavy?
It was basketball heavy,
Okay.
yeah. But we were kind of the comic relief, and so I got hired to play the chief scientist who came up with all these experiments for Buff Tanner, who was the name of the guy. And so it was a lot of fun though, because I got to work with a lot of the Mavericks. I got to work with Mark Cuban personally.
Sure.
And, a lot of the dancers, and get into access to American Airlines Center, and it was a lot of fun.
He's a fascinating guy to me.
Yeah.
How was working for him?
It was good.
Yeah?
No, he was really nice. He's like you and me with $1 billion. Like he's really down to earth.
I would so love me with $1 billion.
Yeah, I know.
I think it would be fascinating just to have a conversation with him, much less get to work with him.
Yeah.
I mean, what were some of the things that, like, when did it... You said he was kind of like you and me, but with $1 billion. What were some of the things that made you go like, "Oh yeah, he has $1 billion"? Like, what would
the cast parties?
Okay, yeah,
like the rap parties every it wasn't every season, but every like 6 weeks or 8 weeks or something. He just throw these elaborate, like shut the club down, open bars, all this food, gift bags for everybody. Like he was really, really elaborate.
Wow.
And then occasionally after a shoot, he'd take a helicopter. So then I was like, oh, he's pretty rich.
Yeah, he can do that.
Yeah.
I think like most of us save our lives for that one helicopter ride we might be able to take.
Yeah.
Or buy a car. It's like, but he just calls up the helicopter when he needs it.
Yeah, he's like, I think I'm going to go to Houston. I'll see you guys later. He just gets in his hell and goes. I'm like,
man, I would operate so well under those circumstances. Yeah. I think I would excel as a billionaire.
Yeah, I think you'd be good. I would like to try.
I think we should all just get a shot at it.
I'd like to get a bigger place. I can see my fridge from my toilet, so I need a bigger apartment.
Do you still have contact with him or his people, or?
Some of the producers from the show moved on to do other stuff in LA and stuff, but no. In fact, now that those videos have resurfaced, my friend emailed them to me. I kind of tweeted them to Mark Cuban. I was like, "Hey, how about a reunion? Maybe I'll send it to Shark Tank. I will release these videos unless,
So here, if for some reason Mark Cuban gets wind of this,
yes,
because he will, I'm sure
he will.
Here's my pitch to Mark Cuban.
Okay,
it's a show.
Yeah, and
I hate reality TV.
Okay,
but I'm gonna propose it anyway. Billionaire for a day.
Yeah,
funded by Mark Cuban, and and every week somebody gets to live and spend like a billionaire. And find out what they would spend it on.
Nice, I like that. Yeah,
let's bring it to Mark.
Mark Cuban, and if you do it, I would like to host.
You can host.
I would like to host.
I would just like to reap the financial benefits from the show.
Yeah. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Can we do a show like, remember the movie Brewster's Millions?
Yes. I mean, it's sort of like Brewster's Millions.
Could be where you have to spend $30 million and not tell anyone why in order to get $300 million.
As long as you get the receipt.
1 week. As long as you get the receipt. Yeah.
that movie was, I mean, of course, it's Richard Pryor and it's John Candy, and it's it's a classic from our childhood, but there's so many plot holes in that give me headaches, even if I want to enjoy that movie. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And if I say $10 million, you're going to say, like, you remember the chant. It was like 10 million, 10 million, 10. I guess I'm the only one who remembers.
I know he bought icebergs. He bought an
iceberg, and then he bought the stamp with the upside down airplane, and he mailed it.
Yeah.
Oh, good move.
Smart.
Good move, Brewster. So you were. What made you end up leaving? Did the Mark Cuban show just end, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And when then did you decide to relocate?
Then I got a job. I was the official mascot for American Airlines for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did that entail?
So
what kind of mascot do they have?
It's an airline seat. I was spoke seat 12A. Yeah, it was an airline seat with a hole cut in the back so my face could come out and I could talk. Yeah. Spoke seat 12A, and the whole gimmick was there's more legroom in coach because I quit and I walked off the plane. So I was traveling the country telling people about more legroom. And
This was it wasn't just
national.
It was just,
Oh yeah. I did it for 2 years, and they were this close to making me like making posters of me, dolls of me, and then they laid off. And this was 2 years after 9/11. And then they laid off like 900,000 people or something from American Airlines.
Yeah.
They're like, if they see we have a budget for a mascot, they'll kill us. So I was like, no, that close. I'll be a mascot for life. Absolutely. You know?
I mean, I'm not going to ask how much you made, but I imagine that
it was good.
They took care of you.
Oh yeah, I flew for free for those 2 years. Like the pay was really good. I had an assistant. Which is ridiculous.
Was it
assistant to the chair?
Was it a pocket in front of you at all times?
This is a barf bag.
Yes.
And, no, it was great. So we get to do some fun things. I opened for Dennis Quaid's band. Dennis Quaid and the Sharks in Itasca, Illinois, for the 4th of July.
Now when you're in an airplane seat, how do you what exactly do you do to open for Dennis Quaid's band?
I had to write a bunch of stupid jokes, so I'd come out there and I was like, "Hey, I'm spoke seat 12A. I don't know if my girlfriend's here tonight. Seat B2. I'm from the wrong side of the curtains, though. She may not want. It was all a bunch of cheesy, corny things like that. Yeah.
Did you write some of that stuff, or did they write it for you?
Yeah, no, I wrote.
So at least you had to, you had the confidence of knowing this is my stuff, at least.
Yeah, and so we came up to New York to do things a lot, and one of the things two things I remember. What's his name? George Whipple. You know that guy?
Yeah,
George Whipple with the eyebrows. That guy on the news.
Oh yeah, he used to do like the gossip stuff on E.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Was it?
Oh, I don't know.
I think that's who I'm thinking of. Yeah, the big eyebrows guy.
Yeah, the big eyebrow. It's George Whipple Entertainment Beat or whatever that. So we did a whole bunch of giveaways with him. So on TV every morning we do like, hey, Charlotte from Buffalo, you win 2 round trip tickets anywhere. So that was one of the gigs we did.
Okay.
And then we did a thing where the Rockettes sat on me in different places around Manhattan. You had to get online and guess where we were to get tickets. So I actually got paid to have Rockettes sit on me.
Wow.
It was great. Many seatbelt jokes were made, but
I'm sure.
It was that was a good gig.
Well, yeah, and you probably know better than anybody else then that they're all the same size.
Yeah.
They're
like 98 pounds or something.
So it probably was an easy gig.
Yeah. Yeah, I just kneel down and they sit on the seat, and they put their arms in my arms. I was like, yeah.
Now, how long did you have to do that?
Not too long. It was enough for a couple pictures. And
that's it. That's a great gig.
Yeah, it was a great gig.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, and then is that what was the thing that led you to stay here and permanently make New York your home?
Yep. Then I had enough money to finally move up, and I was like, okay, I'm out of here.
So you had saved up a bunch?
Yeah.
That's smart. A lot of people aren't that smart.
Well, I didn't put any aside for taxes, so I'm paying for that now. But at the time, I was like, taxes, schmaxes. Now I'm like, oy.
Yeah, the IRS loves when you have that kind of attitude.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
they forgive a lot.
They forget because I'm paying double what I would have paid. I don't want to talk about it.
No, I understand. No, that's a tough one.
Yeah. So then I moved. After that campaign was over, I stuck around Dallas for a couple more months and then decided to move up here.
So what was your first? What was your plan of attack when you got here?
I didn't really have one. Fortunately, though, I had a lot of friends that helped me. My friend Lynette was up here, and she had an apartment on Bleecker and Thompson. And at the time I was moving up, she was moving back for 3 months to finish up college. And she said, "You can stay here for rent free for 3 months."
Bonus.
So again, I was like, "This is amazing."
Well, you can eat then.
Yeah. So I stayed at her place there. I started barking around the clubs around the West Village, doing time over there, like the Village Lantern. At the time, the Boston Comedy Club was there. Yep. It's not. I don't know what it is now. And then I got involved with Comedy Sports New York because I was in Dallas. So I started doing lights and sound for them, and then I folded into their troupe. And then
are they still around?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, they are. All right.
Yeah, they do a lot of. I think they only have one show a week, but they do. They're good at. They get the family friendly thing down. So,
right. Sure. And they're in Times Square.
They're at the Broadway Comedy Club, I think.
Oh, see, I don't know anything.
Saturdays, I think.
Okay. Well,
yeah. So they still got to go in there.
And how quickly before you started to pick up steam?
Then I started doing. I did that for 4 years, I think. And then we did bar mitzvahs, and I was making a little money on there.
Okay, so it was already
thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I got involved with Chicago City Limits, and I was in their touring company for 5 years. And so then during all of that, though, I was doing mascot work. a lot of mascot work.
Oh, all right.
So I worked for Scholastic, and I did, Clifford the Big Red Dog, and there was a cartoon called Maya and Miguel. Do you remember Maya and Miguel?
Yes.
So, little twin Puerto Rican kids, right?
Okay, yeah.
And I was Miguel. It was just a big boy head. And
it was like a giant head, right?
A giant head, yeah. So I was Miguel for a lot of personal experiences. So I got to march in the Puerto Rican Day Parade, which was a nightmare.
Oh, man.
Not because of the parade, just because it was 105 degrees, and I'm wearing this mask. And
people don't appreciate how difficult mascot work really is.
Just rivers of salty, sweat going in your eyes.
And they still haven't come up with a way to keep people cool in those things.
The only one that I was the Michelin Man for a little while.
Oh.
And that actually, it's an air conditioning inside. So that was beautiful.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was all right.
Yeah, I really, really early in my career, I did some mascot work for a radio station, and it was just brutal.
Yeah.
And then kids punching you.
Oh, yeah.
And they think you're punching you in the gut, and the gut on a mascot costume often is right about the level of the groin.
Well, I've got kicked and punched and hugged too hard. I used to work at when Disney had a store here too. I did mascot work there.
Okay,
on the third floor, it was like meet and greets and things like that.
So who did you play there?
I'm supposed to say I'm friends with Pluto.
You're friends with Pluto?
I'm friends with Pluto.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we don't want to piss off Disney.
Yeah, why not?
So you're friends with them.
I'm friends with Pluto. Yeah, but you'd pull a 9-hour shift, with kids, and then I'd find myself like on the subway. If I see a kid on the subway, I start waving to them, and then their parents like grab them and pull them closer. I'm like, oh right, I'm not in the costume right now. It's like I've just been waving to kids for 9 hours. I'm sorry. Yeah.
When did you start producing stuff of your own once you got here?
Let's see, I guess I started doing stuff at the Pit before I was an actual Pit house team member over there.
Yeah.
With my friend Elizabeth Blue, and we had a folk duo called Pembroke and Lou. So we put shows up there.
I remember her posting about that.
Oh yeah.
It's been a while since you guys have done anything, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We might get together to do a reunion show.
What was the idea of Pembroke and Lou?
Pembroke and Lou were like two hippies that just didn't get it. They'd start singing about the war, and it would turn into what they're going to have for dinner, or we'd go to rallies and we'd sell protest signs, so it wasn't like protest signs, get your protest signs here, and so our songs kind of reflected that. But the first time I did paying stuff, I kept in touch with some of the people from the ad agency that did the American Airlines chair. And so I started writing training videos for them, for like Michael's Arts and Crafts stores and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I had been doing ARTprov because I was working with a friend of mine. The first time I did ARTprov, I did it with Jason Borbet, who's an artist.
Okay.
He and I started
explain
out.
what ARTprov is, just to give a baseline.
ARTprov is it's short form improv, and we have a guest artist come out and we show their gallery of work on a screen, and then our cast creates improvised songs and scenes based on that, and the artist is there live, and they create a new piece based on the scenes that he's watching, and everyone has an hour to do it. And then we take that piece and, I kind of try to auction it off to charity twice a year.
Wow.
And that. So that's how ARTprov worked. And it started because my friend Jason Borbet and I started doing, he was one of the stand-ups that I kind of started working with here. Uh-huh. And, he went the other way. He started painting and he's doing very well. So we said we need to do a show together. So I came up with ARTprov.
Wow.
And we started doing that. But then Michael's Arts and Crafts came to me and said they wanted to know more. They wanted to be known more as an art store for artists and not just, hey, Mom, I need to get a poster board for
Yeah.
And so I pitched them ARTprov, and I said, let's do a series of ARTprov shows, and we'll have your designers come out. And so they liked it, and they booked it, and we did some corporate shows for them. We went down to Disney World, and we did something called the Festival of the Masters, which is a huge art fair down there. So we did 6 ARTprov shows down in downtown Disney. And so, that picked up a little more steam, and I got more corporate work through them. And
Where does that business mind come from? Because, you have performers hard, but sometimes business takes a back seat, and some people don't have the wherewithal or the mindset to put a deal like that together. Where do you get that from?
Well, again, the desire to make money.
Well, I think that's a big one. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah. But also I like that it's just another challenge, as an improv scene, you get a suggestion, you got to come up with a whole scene based on one word or, a song or title or something. This is just same thing. Can you come up with a show, but here's your criteria? And I like the challenge of it. I like coming up with that.
Wow. Can we talk about the burlesque thing?
Yeah.
How did you get involved in burlesque?
So one of the other the things I'm in is a band called the BTK Band.
Which stands for?
Well, my friend Peter Aguero named it the BTK Band after the bind, torture, killer.
It is guy. Directly. Okay, yeah. I was going to say, don't be confused with the bind, torture, kill serial killer. You invite that. Yeah, okay.
But I didn't know that at first. And then when I found out, it was too late because we're BTK. So I just started telling people it stands for Bring the Kids. So I just started doing Bring the Kids.
Nice.
Yeah. And so it started out, Pete was in Chicago City Limits with me. And so we became really good friends. And so he wanted to do this thing where, like a Tom Waits thing, where he started reading stories. And then, I played guitar behind him. We had a couple musicians play. And then that just ballooned into getting a few more comedians who could also play instruments. And then we created our own songs. And then we invited storytellers out from The Moth, which is a storytelling group. They came out and they told stories, and we built choruses around them. And they were like, how can we make this even crazier? And one of our guest storytellers, who's now in the band, his wife is a burlesque dancer, so she started go-going, and then we just invited more go-go's out and more burlesque dancers. So now it's just a crazy party every time. Now,
so, for a lot of people, and for me, on a certain level, like burlesque sounds like such an old art.
Yeah,
but it is a thriving thing.
Yeah.
What is burlesque like now? Because you think of burlesque as like Busby Berkeley and like big feather boa, kind of like. It's
like
relatively tame, but it's still adult oriented. Yeah. What's it like now?
Well, now it's getting ridiculous because with the themes, I'm not a burlesque performer. I don't know how they produce and put their shows together. My girlfriend is one. She's but the themes they do now, like they'll have a whole Blazing Saddles or Mel Brooks tribute, or there's a girl that does a Dead on Cylon from the new Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
She comes out in a Cylon, out, and she strips out of the robot thing, and then she's got the glowing spine and everything. It's amazing.
Wow.
The one girl does a Fraggle Rock theme, so it's like there's
Fraggle Rock striptease.
Yeah, Fraggle Rock. She dresses like red, I think, is the Fraggle.
Not Boober.
That would be obscene.
This is red. Or that old dude who had the dog.
Oh yeah, Sprock, Doc, right?
Doc, yeah, right.
Sprocket, get the peanut butter. No.
Now, as a gimmick, does she give out the stuff that the dozers made that they like to eat? Like
the radish?
No, they would make those
construction.
The construction, they would just eat whatever they built.
That'd be pretty good.
That'd be a good gimmick.
Yeah. But yeah, I just from what I've seen, they're getting more and more creative and doing a lot more theme
It's
shows.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's almost like there's a little bit of irony there, right? Would you, or am I totally off base by saying that? Like by being a Fraggle Rock stripper, or just striptease with Fraggle Rock, that's got to have a little bit of irony to it. It's kind of like postmodern, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I guess in the old days it was pretty straightforward. We're gonna get guys excited by showing a little bit of skin, but now it's almost like we're not really doing this for the skin part. We're doing this to make a statement.
I guess there's still the skin part, but now it's like a storyline comes into it big time. A lot too. So
and you mentioned your girlfriend. What's her gimmick? What's her?
She's just pretty straightforward. She didn't have a burlesque name, but she was she was Miss Coney Island pinup for a couple of years, so she does a lot more pinup and stuff like that.
That's good for her.
It's all right.
Yeah,
it's good for us.
I can only imagine that it's you have a lot of pride.
Yes.
Achieving is good things.
It's good. Yeah.
I'm trying to be delicate. I don't know.
I did it.
So nowadays, what kind of shows are you actively producing or involved in?
Still doing. I'm in a couple of house teams at the Pit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a musical team Fridays at 7 called Royals, and then a newer team on Mondays at 10 called Lightning Round.
Yeah.
BTK still plays a couple times a year. We're doing our Gay Pride show this summer, which should be fun. And my main thing here is I've been working for Cornell University now is my main corporate thing.
Doing what?
It's their 150th anniversary, and I got hired to dress as one of the founders and host all these celebratory events all over the world. So it's like once a month we go out for a week and do shows.
That's a cool deal.
And all these Cornell alum come out.
Now, I've seen pictures, and you are
Andrew White. Andrew D. White, one of the founders
of Cornell.
Cornell, yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, why Cornell? I mean, there's justification for anything, but why Cornell, which is a New York-based school? Why are they going around the world?
I guess they got a lot of. I mean, the shows we've done so far are packed with Cornell alum.
Okay.
So we did one in Boston, D.C. We're going to San Francisco and L.A. in 2 weeks.
I guess it does make sense. Instead of making them all come to Cornell, they just go out wherever Cornell people are.
Yeah.
Wait
a minute.
So you learn something new every day.
But that's been a lot of fun. I'm making good contacts there, and I got to work with Wynton Marsalis in September because he's director of their jazz program. So we did 2 shows at Lincoln Center.
That's
and
pretty
then
awesome.
we end up in London in May is our last show. So
that's a pretty good deal,
it's not
man.
too shabby.
Not too shabby. Well, you are a world traveler.
Now they're going to know I dropped out of community college, though. So
you're an inspiration to everybody who ever dropped out after watching Star Wars for 6 weeks.
Oh, man. I like how you justify anything. I like it.
That's my job here, man. I got to make you look good. How do people keep in touch with you?
How do they keep? My phone number is. I got the Facebook page. They can follow me at Twitter at Rory Scholl, or if they want to hire me to do some promo work, they can check me out at www.thecreativeoutlets.com, which is my little promo company.
And it's Scholl.
Scholl, yeah.
Scholl.
Yeah.
Well, how do you pronounce it?
I pronounce it Scholl.
Scholl. All right. So I have been. Okay. Well, it almost sounded like you said Scholl,
Rory Scholl,
which is slightly different.
Maybe that's the Texas accent.
It could be.
Oh, I got rid of that.
No, it's still there, man.
Damn.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome.
That's Rory Scholl. Super funny guy. Really nice guy. I enjoyed spending time with him and connecting with him on a lot of different subjects, and it's always nice when you get to know somebody who you've known through other people for a long time and find out that they are super cool, and you get to not just have mutual friends, but you get to be friends with them too. And isn't that what this podcast is all about? Making friends. I'd like to think so. Hey, if you want to keep touch with Rory, you can follow him on Twitter at Rory Scholl. That's RORYSCHOLL. And you can visit his website where he does a lot of his work at thecreativeoutlets.com. I'm sure at some point everyone will be working with Rory Scholl because that's how it seems to go. Whether you are in comedy or acting or theater or in performance or entertainment at all, you are going to end up working with Rory Scholl. And I do want to remind Mark Cuban that I'm available to talk about ideas, and that's what I hope someday we will get to do. All right, that about does it for another edition of Bring Your Own Lunch. Glad you could be with us. Don't forget to check out Banooba.net, BANOOBA.net. Find out where the music from this show comes from and download some of their music. Go see them live. Go hang out with them. They're cool people, and tell them Dave says hi. And don't forget to go to our website, bringyourownlunch.com. You can send me a personal email, dave@bringyourownlunch.com. You can follow us on Twitter at BYOL Podcast. Like us on Facebook.com/bringyourownlunch. Very similarly, you can follow us on Instagram at bringyourownlunch. And if you have the time, please go to iTunes or Stitcher and rate, review, subscribe to this show, because that gives us a chance to let iTunes know that we're doing good stuff and that they should be telling other people to come check us out, because, it takes a village. That's what I believe. I think. Never quite sure. Don't forget to check out the show notes for this episode to find out all the links about all the stuff I talked about earlier. Stay tuned for Jimmy Jack's Cowpunch Hour, followed by Mansoor and the Fish. And until next week, when I have another great guest lined up, this is Dave. I'll see you next Tuesday. Hand to God.